see my best friend talking to these two older guys, and I go up to them, I'm talking. They turn out to be 50, they're doctors and they're visiting from the US. And we have a chat about life and about experiences, and then they're like, where's a good place to go? I'm like, oh, this club is really good. We bring them there and we're like, sorry bro, we can't come in, we don't have enough money on us. They shouted us, and then when we were inside, they're like, you two are some of the best guys, you're super social, you're gonna do so well in your life, gassing us up. And that's when I realized I genuinely had social skills ascended. I had finally like kind of made it, you know? And I know you might not like fully believe me. I'm gonna put up a screenshot of a guy that I've personally helped make a friend group of like 6 people. And in this video, I'm gonna make sure by the end of this video, you're gonna be one of the most social people, or you're gonna know more about social skills than anybody else, because this is anecdotal experience. These are things that I've like meticulously searched out for and learned myself. And it's gonna be like 4 big sections of like 4 big pieces of information in this video. I guarantee your life will change after this video. By the way, I have a Discord server where I have my full social skills written guide inside. And obviously, if you like this style of content, subscribe, like, and comment. I would really appreciate that. Let's get into it. I was speaking to this guy who, in a year's time, his social skills has changed more than anyone's I've seen in my whole life. A year ago, he couldn't even hold a conversation with me. I asked him how he did it. He goes, I had to come up with a strategy because I was so bad. It was genuinely like a goal of mine. And I already really respected this guy for just that alone, because most guys are scared to improve their social skills. They feel like it's a weird goal and something you can't improve on. So I'm like, what did you actually do? Every day, or like a few times a week, he was already going for a run. So he said, when I was going out for a run, I would try and smile every time I would run past someone for the first week. He said to him that was a little easy, but it was like there was a sense of difficulty. Sorry, gotta clear my nose. But this guy, he told me the strategy for him was basically every week he would increase how much sociability he had to do. The second week when he was running, he would say hi to everybody. And then the week after he'd say, hi, how are you? And then in school he would start having conversations with people. And I noticed over a year, he was much more fun to hang out with me. He had good friends. And honestly, this strategy, you might think it's below you. You're better than that. I understand that. But sometimes if you're like really struggling, don't ego it. Don't think, oh, I'm better than this. There's no shame in dropping down a little and just saying hi to a few people every day. And over a few weeks, over a month, that's gonna completely transform your social skills because you're doing it consistently instead of just trying to be super social one night, failing and then giving up. This strategy, I think it's very useful when you're not very social at all, you're a complete beginner. The next strategy is a little more intermediate, or maybe like beginner to intermediate, or maybe if you were social when you were a kid or you had friends when you were a kid, but you struggle now when you're older. This is perfect for you. I remember there was this holiday where I had been like basically bullied at school for 6 months, and I came back to Hong Kong, my hometown, where I had a few friends. So to my friends, I said, yo, let's hang out. Every day I planned something. I would go to the sauna with my friend this day. Then on Tuesday, I would go beach. And then on Wednesday, I remember one day, my parents, I remember this day, none of my friends were free. So I asked my parents, I'm like, you guys want to hang out? We ended up playing Monopoly. Every day, I would literally make it so that I would do something, or I'd leave the house, or I'd go to the beach by myself. Whatever it was, I was doing something. And this ended up being, after a week, when I went on a night out, there was a social event I was invited to, it was still really hard to talk to people. It was impossible to speak to girls at this time, and it was difficult to speak to guys. But give me one more week, because I kept doing the same plan, and then I went on one more night out. And it was still actually super awkward. I was still struggling to talk to people. And then I see this girl like walking down the staircase, and she looks familiar. Did she go to my school? And I'm like, hey. I call out her name. She turns around and I'm like, hey, do you remember me? I think we went to the same school. She's like, are you Finn? I think I've heard of you maybe. Like, she wouldn't have heard much about me, but she would have like seen me around school. And I remember we're talking and it starts to become clear, she's enjoying the chat with me. I'm trying really hard to hold this combo, but I'm really stressed. And then, certain things happen between us. I get like a real big compliment. Other things happen briefly. And after that, I felt like the man. And then I could talk to anybody, everybody. But the thing that I remember, super clearly I remember this, it wasn't her. Like, yeah, I did instantly feel more social, but it wasn't her. Because imagine if I hadn't been going out trying my best to be social for the last 2 weeks. I probably wouldn't have gone that scenario where something crazy happens and my entire social confidence transforms. So, for this strategy, what you want to do is plan as many things every single day for a 2-week holiday or a 2-week period, and try and talk to as many people as possible. Do something every day, and then go to 1 or 2 big functions. And when you keep pushing with all these strategies that I'm going to teach you, then eventually your social skills it all comes together, man. Like out of nowhere, basically. Now, I'm going to tell you about this strategy, which you use before you go to a social event. I think this is genuinely like one of the best this is the most golden social skills strategy I've ever tried. It's something I'm still using. Like, I'm genuinely thinking I don't ever want to go to a social function again without doing this strategy. I inadvertently did this before I went on a date, and the date, I think it went really well. Let me get into this. Basically, I'm with my friend and I want to talk about this strategy on camera. So he films me and I walk through the street and I say hey to people. Hey, how you going? Hey, how are you? You know what I realized, bro? When you're going around saying hi to people, yeah, a lot of people might not respond, but you're increasing your embarrassment tolerance so high. That's like the logic behind it. And I would go and keep doing this. And after about 10 or 20 people you say hi to, your social skills flies through the roof. This night I only did 5 people, and I still felt a massive fucking difference that when I met up with the girl and we went on our date and we were hanging out, I had a way better chat. I was full of energy. It was awesome, bro. This is genuinely the best strategy. If you're gonna go to a social event, say hi to a bunch of random people that you know you're never gonna see again. By the time you arrive to the function, you're gonna feel amazing and you're gonna feel so much more social than you normally do. Because warming up socially is a real thing. I remember I'm on a night out and there's this dude who's absolutely hilarious. I go up to him, I'm like, yo, what's up, my boy? And we're gassing up. This is the first time we'd ever met. And we're going around trolling a little, speaking to a lot of people. And it made me realize, I've gone up to this guy. I've chatted with him. I've become friends with him just because I've treated him like one of my good friends. I've gone up to him like I'm excited to see him. Everything that you accidentally do when you treat someone and you assume in your mind that you're like, oh, they really like me. We're good friends. Just assume that in your mind. As soon as you go speak to them, because you assume that in your mind, they like you a lot more than they normally would. That's why this advice, I think it's really good to treat people like you're already close. I remember the first time I was in gym with my friend, one of my really close friends. And there's this other guy there who's scary as shit. I spoke to him once or twice before over like a year ago. But today, I was here with my friend and I was like, yo, I called out his name. I was like, yo, what do you think about this? And there was a sense of awkwardness, but it's like, it wasn't awkwardness. It was just a bit of quietness. And in our minds, the less social people we are, we assume that's awkwardness. And the more social people don't even think about it. You just gotta understand, there's always like an underlying sense of awkwardness. It's just like, don't think of it like that. It's just normal. It's not awkward. It's just like normal human interactions. This guy and I, we went to go eat lunch. I invited him. And yeah, we were quiet for a bit, a bit of strong eye contact. It's not awkward. It's just normal fucking human interactions. You've just met somebody. You're not meant to be like so fucking full of energy and it's perfect moment. Like that's never how it works. I mean, yeah, maybe when you social skills ascend, like I don't really have awkward moments, but maybe that's because I don't believe in awkwardness. Actually, it is because I don't believe in awkwardness. That I guarantee there's people who, yeah, they've still come around to really liking me, but at first they might have thought I was a bit awkward. Or maybe there was an awkward convo and I just viewed it as it didn't matter. And the way that I viewed awkwardness is what allowed me to be so much fun and keep enjoying my life so much. So just view awkwardness a bit differently and if you think in your mind, oh, this combo is awkward, just say to yourself, nah, awkwardness isn't real. It's better to live that way. Even if there is like an awkward moment, it's better to be delusional and think awkward moments don't exist. Because as soon as you even say that, I've said that with like girls out loud. Yeah, I don't really believe in awkwardness. They also become a lot more comfortable around you because they're not worried about things going like silent or awkward anymore. Leading into that, you need to be comfortable with silence. And honestly, for a long time, I've really struggled with that. I've really struggled with being okay with the conversation going silent, being okay with talking to somebody and you have nothing to say. I've struggled with that so much. I think, oh, that means no one's gonna like me. I need to be talking all the time. That's not the case at all. It's actually okay to be in a group and not say anything. I was with my friend, I made a vlog with this guy who's quite naturally social, and something he told me really like resonated with me. He was like, bro, if you're on a date, because we were speaking about dating, and he was like, if you run out of shit to say, just chill. Don't even say anything. Half a minute. That's not awkward. Maybe you just don't feel like saying something. You're getting comfortable being in each other's presence. And he says, in that case, worst case scenario, you're on a date, that happens, give him an AirPod. And the way he viewed it, like, yeah, just give him an AirPod. Like, it didn't even matter to him. And I think when I took that mindset, I went on the date right after he told me this. I took that mindset and I fully ran with it. Like, I didn't care when the convo went silent. And weirdly, like, when the convo was silent, weirdly, the convos didn't go as silent as the last time I hung out with her, when I was a bit more scared of the convo being quiet. Genuinely, when a convo goes silent, it really doesn't matter at all. And you're actually, in a weird way, getting a lot more comfortable around the other person, especially with girls. Like, it really doesn't matter at all. And even in a social setting, in a group setting, people will really like you for being a listener. As long as you can break the ice and start the conversation, you can just position yourself as the listener all the time. Be the quiet one, and that's completely fine. And obviously, it's better to be full of things to say or be able to say something whenever you want. But you weirdly only get there when you're comfortable with silence. As I said on this date, I had plenty to say. But compared to the last date, I didn't have as much to say. And the biggest difference was... What was the biggest difference? The biggest difference is I didn't care about the conversation going silent at all. There was this girl who we were camping and in a big group, and this girl and we were sitting in the same area, and she hadn't said much to me. It was a bit of a, hey, how are you? But we had hardly spoke. And then when we're sitting down, we actually start having a conversation just for a few minutes, 5 minutes. We didn't have a proper one-on-one conversation at all much for the rest of the day. But the next time I saw her, it was good chats. It was easy to talk to her. She was really nice. And I actually really enjoyed her company, and it made me realize properly, you can be super quiet and still people will love your energy. You're not meant to be full of things to say all the time. I think that's a really important social skills lesson. And now something about humor I wanted to teach you. One of the biggest things about humor, so for example, I was in the boxing gym on Tuesday and I said this joke. The words came to my mind and I was like, fuck, say it anyways. I said the joke. No one laughed. But no one really responded, It was like, oh, okay. And then a minute later, a joke came to my head. I was like, oh, he's got the same haircut as him. And everybody's cackling, cracking up, having a good laugh. And it made me remember, you don't always need every time you tell a joke, it doesn't always need to be the best joke ever. Just keep firing off jokes, because it's that lighthearted energy of you're joking around and you're hopefully, you get some good laughs. But people, I'm genuinely telling you, people say that I'm fucking hilarious. My friends think I'm fucking hilarious. Everybody thinks I'm really funny. But truly, for a year, when I was in boarding school, people said I was one of the least funny people they ever met. And I'm like, what, cunt? I've always been funny. But the thing that I realized, I stopped making these jokes. Even when I was younger, I never really made any jokes. No one ever found me funny. As soon as I started making the jokes that would come to my mind and just saying them whenever they were, the words would kind of be there, I would just blurt it out. As soon as I did that, there was a lot of shit jokes I've made. But it's not a big deal when you make a shit joke. You go, oh yeah, that was a shit joke, whatever. Or you just don't say anything and you make another joke. Or everyone fucking cackles up and you become the funny guy. So honestly, I really recommend making as many jokes that come to your mind and saying them as possible. Because, bro, yeah, maybe for a long period of time, maybe it might take you, it took me a while, 6 months, a year, of saying the jokes that come to your mind, and then they're not always that funny. But after you keep doing this, you start to see every joke that had a positive reaction and every joke that had a negative reaction, and your subconscious brain kind of like figures it out itself, especially if you're spending a lot of time around people and being more social, and you're like maybe watching a bit of comedy here. Then all of a sudden, like literally doesn't need to be much, you're just making jokes and you see what's funny to other people. You're around your friends, they make these jokes. Your subconscious brain, if you keep making jokes, you're gonna narrow it down and start to become really funny. You just need to go through that awkward phase a lot of the time. But sometimes you might already be fucking hilarious. I think a lot more of you wouldn't believe it, but you're actually a lot more funny than you would ever imagine. I remember my dad had a joke where, Finn, you're always on a phone call with a girl. What he didn't understand is, at this time I had just gotten better from struggling socially most of my life. And there was 3 girls that I talked to, and I would call them every night, and it was like one of the 3, and that's how I would spend my afternoons after I got back from sport, because I definitely wasn't doing no fucking homework back then. Interestingly, this is probably one of the best things I ever did to become more social. And I don't know why I've been gatekeeping this tactic a little, because if everybody knew this tactic of just make a girl best friend, everybody would abuse it and like become super social, right? But that's not what my channel's about. My channel's about giving you everything you need to know. I remember at this time when I was regularly calling them, there was one party that I went to, and when I went there, I just spoke to her like it was my girl best friend. And interestingly, I was super in. I just didn't have a single thread of confidence. I was so in with this girl. This girl literally came up to me and she was like, "It's so nice to see you," gave me the biggest fucking hug and asked me if I wanted to come hang out with her. And I was like, "Oh, sorry, I'm hanging out with somebody else." I didn't clock it in the slide. If I knew that she was into me, I would have fucking gone with her immediately. "Oh, you're into me? Yeah, bet. Fuck you guys. I'm going off with this girl." I was so insecure. By the way, that's a joke. I don't ditch my boys. But if I had a bit more confidence and I kept doing this tactic of calling these girls, that's when my social skills was at peak. The problem with this tactic, as long as you understand this downside of it, it won't affect you. But I need to explain this. I remember once, this was when I was, calling these girls, and they were my friends and my social skills was better because of it at this time. Once I was at this little beach gathering, and this girl, she sees me, she runs up to me, she fucking jumps on me, she's like, "Finn, it's so nice to see you." I remember, I was so I should have just leaned in for a kiss. I don't know what was wrong with me. I was sitting there with my arm around her, and I still thought she didn't like me. Do you know how fucking sad that is? This girl, I really liked her. I had the biggest crush on her, and I was so insecure that I couldn't just lean in. Even if you think a girl would never like you, if you like them, just fucking send it. You need to get comfortable with rejection. Having female friends has to be the best fucking thing in the world, as long as you're comfortable with being rejected by the other girls. Never go for your close female friend though. Now let me expand on this a little more. When you see a girl, and let's say you're a teenager, you don't need a spit game or any of this shit that you see online. Just go up and introduce yourself. "Hey, what's up? What's your name?" They're gonna respect you more than any guy they meet, because you know how many guys go up to a girl and say, "Hey, what's up? Nice to meet you." They're not weird, they're just genuinely friendly. That shit, I don't see fucking teenagers doing that. I didn't do that. If you're talking to them, it's going well, you give them a nice little compliment. "You're very pretty, by the way." If you do that, you're in. Literally, I feel like that's genuinely all you need to do. I get that, yeah, you're gonna say some bullshit, "Oh, you're just good looking." No. I'm talking about when you're a teenager. This shit don't work when you're an adult. It's way fucking harder. It's you gotta be the most charming guy in the world. I would say I'm pretty charming and I don't struggle. But I'm telling you, I remember when everyone was a teenager, it was just about who had the fucking balls to send it and ask the girl out. And the problem is, I did this a few times and I got airballed, but when someone says ask a girl out, they don't understand it properly. You go up to a girl in real life, speak to her a bit, and you say, "Hey, we should go watch a movie." You don't no. Stop fucking airballing, sending 30 messages online. That shit doesn't work. You gotta meet them in person, otherwise they won't like you. Any teenager has the confidence to hit up a girl, but I don't see anybody going up to a girl in person. And that's how you can set yourself apart from every guy. Probably get the hottest girl in the entire school if you do this. and you're just like, if you're a decently valid dude and you go up to the hottest girl in school and you do this, you'd probably go well. Like, genuinely, like, the hottest girls don't even get approached that much. It's all like Snapchat and guys texting them. If you just go up to them like a normal person, which you learn by having some female friends, which I think is probably like the first step, is just become super close with a few girls. Because you can be open about it. You can be like, hey, it's really nice to meet you. I'm a bit nervous around girls, but I think you're a really nice person. I'd love to be friends. I swear to God, if you say that, there's gonna be one fucking confident, like, if you're 14, there's gonna be a confident 14-year-old girl who's gonna become like your best friend and like gas you up and introduce you to whole other friends, and you're definitely gonna like meet a girl you really like. I promise you, this is the absolute most unpatched, filthy, overpowered method of all time, bro. Genuinely, if I just used my fucking one brain cell when I was 14 and I had super close female friend and I just asked her to set me up with a girl or introduce me to somebody or help me be more social, and I just accepted, yeah, I'm not that social, I would have had some of the fucking sickest teenage relationships ever, right? But it took me 2-3 years before I even got to that point where, you know, I was actually talking to girls, girls ever liked me. And so my advice, go get a girl best friend. I promise you, they're way nicer than you think, by the way. If you just have the confidence, or not confidence, you just have the, just go up and say, hey, how are you? To like a nice girl. You know, don't go up to the bitchiest girl and try this. Go up to the girls who are like quite nice and friendly and say, and like, remember what I told you, you know, it might not work all the time, but just say, hey, how are you? You're just friendly. You can, especially if you're at a party. This works like gold if you're at a party. You just go up, you're like, hey, it's nice to meet you. And honestly, if you said this line to a girl, I'm sorry, I'm just a bit nervous, but I would love to be friends with you. They're gonna fucking love you for that. You can pull it off well, I'm promising you. That could be like the strategy. Just never go for that female friend. If you want to pull a girl, don't be friends with her. You're never gonna, if you try and be friends with a girl and then you have a crush a month later, game is gone, bro. You're already out the game. You didn't have the confidence to fucking man up and fucking say, yeah, I like you. So obviously they're never gonna like you if from the start, you know, you were friends. So yeah, this is the gate-kept social skills ascension method, but I really fuck with this section heavy. Honestly, when I was going out on the holiday a few weeks ago with my friends, 2 girls who were like my good friends, wherever I'd go, like every girl was super fucking friendly with me because they'd see me with another girl. This works beautifully nightlife. This works great during the day as well. Like if you're friends with a bunch of girls and you're hanging out with this girl and a girl who sees you, she starts thinking, are they together? And they're so much more open to talking to you after they see that. It's just the way it is, bro. Like I didn't fucking pick the rules. It's genuinely just the way it is. So yeah, like I would really, really fucking recommend you go get some female friends, bro. Now this last section, before I get into it, remember, full written social skills guide in the Discord server. Subscribe, like, comment. But a few weeks ago, I was genuinely fucking terrified. No, a few months ago, to go to this boxing gym. My friend had told me about it for a month. He's like, it's the best place. But I was embarrassed. I was like, my athleticism isn't good enough. Are people gonna judge me? And then on Tuesday, the last time I went in, I'm there. I'm laughing my ass off with like 10 of the boys. The coach and I are boys. It's just a fucking awesome environment, right? I was terrified. The first time, even when I got there, I'm gonna be honest, I was still scared the first session I went. But the longer I spent time there, the more I realized it was all in my head. Everyone there was really nice. You just need to speak. I just tried, here, I'm gonna get to that point next. But it basically has become something that I love to go to. It's something I look forward to. I would rather go to the group trainings than train by myself when no one can even see me. So I would really recommend, first of all, go to a martial arts gym, go to a sports group. It will genuinely like brighten up your life, especially martial arts. Now, the next point is, when you go, just say, okay, so the first day I got there was this guy in the change room. I'm like, what's up, bro? What's your name? Nice to meet you. Handshake. That's all you really need to do. You ask him like a little bits of small talk. I get that can be hard sometimes. I get it can be nervous. It's okay to be nervous the first time you meet someone. It's okay to be awkward. But if you're still going to that boxing gym and you're just a nice guy, when you get more comfortable with people are completely fine with you being awkward with the first time you meet them. And after a while, they become more comfortable with you. People are totally fine with that. So what I recommend, you go and you introduce yourself to everyone over time. And I think like 3 or 4 weeks into the boxing gym, I invited one of the guys that I liked a lot there. Yo, come to the horse races with me. It's more of a like a social event. We went there. We did like this fun ass like how are you technique where you say hi to everybody when you're walking down the street. And we went to this social event. I introduced him to this really pretty girl, and they clicked really well. One of my really good friends. And is it Ben? Nah, I'm allowed to call her pretty, bro. Fuck that. Like, she's a friend. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. But where was I? I've lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, we just had the fucking most awesome night out together, and we become so close from that. And now when I invite him to hang out with other people, it can become like a little group, you know? I invite him to hang out with this person, and it's become a little group. And if you keep doing this with more people and they respect you, like, you know, they respect who you are, you know, you go train hard at the boxing gym, or you're like a good guy, and if you're a good guy and they respect you a bit, then you're gonna make some really good friends. And if you have that for all of your different friends and you put it all together, it can become the sickest friend group ever. I have a super in-depth part about like this part about making a friend group and, you know, meeting friends for the first time in my social skills written guide. Links in the description in my Discord server. I hope you have an amazing day. Take care of yourself, bro. And like and subscribe and comment. Have a good one.